Hello everyone, it's been a while since I made a video, but since I recently hit 1,000 subscribers, I was not expecting that. Thanks a lot. Apparently someone is interested in what I say. I thought that I would make a little video update. I also wanted to make another video with regard to a new gun that I'm getting, but that one's still in the pipeline. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna try to explain how the new gun laws are gonna affect us here in Switzerland. As you may or may not know, unfortunately, people have voted in favor of a restriction for the current gun law regime, which, as things stand right now, is gonna go into full effect as of August 15. Okay, so starting August 15, we're gonna all have to sort of work around the new restrictions that apply. I'm going to give you a brief overview and then tell you what I think honestly on this new gun law. So, what has changed? Essentially, the new gun law is trying to prohibit some categories of short and long weapons. For short weapons, pistol, honestly, I think for 95+% of the handguns that are currently being sold, nothing will change. For pistols, the only ones that will require a special permit now, where you need to show why you want to buy them. So you cannot just buy them just to have them lying around at home. You will have to say why you want to buy them, so a bit more paperwork. This only applies to pistols with more than 20 rounds in the magazine. If you're talking P226, Glocks, some may have a bigger magazine. Essentially, any pistol with a magazine that has less than 20 rounds or up to 20 rounds falls under the old regime. Old regime, what do I mean? You just need a purchase permit, but you don't need to state why. So essentially, you just need to fill in your details, prove that you're not a criminal. You can just order just a confirmation from the, I think from, what is it? I don't know what it's called in English. Just a confirmation that you can order online. It says whether you were involved in a crime or not. Most of the time it's empty, hopefully. If it's empty, you're good to go. You just send it to the police, there you go. You don't need to provide any further explanation why you're purchasing the gun. For long guns, there are some changes, and it kind of sucks. Why? Because it affects SBRs, like my favorite guns. And it applies, the SBRs now will be divided into sort of, there's two types of prohibited weapons when you're talking long guns. The ones that are shorter than 60 centimeters, okay? So the new rule states that if you have a gun that can shoot without any sort of, I don't even know how to describe it. A gun that will just be able to shoot and is shorter than 60 centimeters as a long gun, it's a prohibited weapon because it's considered especially dangerous. Okay, go figure. That one is one category of prohibited guns now, and then there's, in general, any gun that has more than 10 rounds. You know what it's when a magazine is inserted in the gun or is stored with the gun. That's a prohibited weapon as well. With these two categories of prohibited weapons, they introduce two new profiles of buyers. Okay, it's a bit weird. Let us just clarify: military weapons from the Swiss Army that are given to you after service are not affected, both new and old ones. That's okay. For old guns that you have purchased prior to August 15, also no change. All of my SBRs right now are grandfathered with old magazine, etc., so it's not a big deal. But if I want to purchase an SBR in the future, after August 15, I will have some issues. Not really issues, and after some talks that I had with savvy people in the business, it looks as how can I phrase it? Yeah, you're gonna have to choose essentially which path you want to go down the road. Okay, it's still not final. A Q&A from the police, an official FAQ or something like this, is still to come, like is about to come out. So we're still into the last phase, or the finalizing all of the details, especially, you know, because you got rules and you got sanctions, and then they're gonna have to work out who's gonna do what in case of someone not respecting the rules. So they're trying not to give out some false information at the moment. You know, they don't want people to just draw in assumptions and start to doing dumb shit. Essentially, as I understand things, will look the following after August 15. If you're just interested in shooting guns, like for sporting or just for because you like shooting, you can apply, and set guns, are longer than 60 centimeters and have a magazine of more than 10 rounds. Okay, so if you're talking a normal AR-15, 14.5 inch, any gun, that is longer than 60 centimeters and will use a magazine of more than 10 rounds, you will have to apply for a purchaser permit as for sporting purposes. Okay, this special authorization will allow you to buy any gun, and it can hold any type of magazine. Okay, even a fucking Betamax, no problem. Where's the catch? If you're applying, if you're registering, if you have a gun registered to you for sporting purposes, so with any magazine, it can fit any magazine, no problem. You will have to provide two things within 5 years and within 10 years. So within the first 5 years, you're gonna have to provide at least once proof that you went to the shooting range, which is historically not that much of a big deal. Alternative, if you don't want to go to the shooting range, or if you are for some reason in a shooting club, okay, it doesn't have to be an official club, it just has to be a club where people shoot, so not affiliated to any sort of official shooting from, I don't know, shooting federation, just in a shooting club. If you can provide proof that you are a member of this club within the first 5 years, that counts. And then after the first 5 years, within the next 5 years, so that makes 10, you're gonna have to do the same another time, and then you're good to go. So essentially, you know, without being too fucking sophisticated, try to shoot 2 times within 10 years, you should be good to go. Now, where's the catch? For the sporting sort of purchase permit, okay? The good thing is, okay, shooting 2 times is fucking okay, honestly, and historically never much of a big deal. Another good thing is it applies only for the first license that you apply for this category. So if you buy 5 guns every year, you have to do it only for the first gun, and then it's okay. For the other 4 guns, you don't have to do the same every year for a new gun, show that you're shooting that gun. This is good. But yeah, the guns that you can buy with this permit, unfortunately, will not include SBRs. Guns that are shorter than 60 centimeters cannot be purchased with this permit. For that one, you require another permit, which is the collector permit. Now, if you saw my older videos, you know that in general, if you want to buy full auto weapons and stuff that is really cool, you have to be sort of registered as a serious, or as a professional, not professional, but as a serious collector, okay? In the past, that was the way in which you could access category A weapons, which under European law are like the highest, with the weapons that are most highly restricted, like full auto guns, grenade launchers, and stuff like this. Beforehand, you used to have to be registered as a serious collector, and then you could purchase these guns. What was the catch? If you want to shoot these full auto guns, in the past you had to order like a special authorization, which sucks. It costs $100. You have to tell them where you want to go to shoot and whatever, and it sucks. It was also really hard to get into the club. You had to purchase, or you have to have at least 10 guns over 5 years. Then you can purchase only the guns that kind of belong to the category. So if you buy 10 fucking Glocks over some years, and then you want to buy an HK416, that's not going to work out. So you're talking expensive stuff, takes quite a lot of time. That was the old regime for serious collectors. The collector category that will now be able to buy SBR is sort of a collector's light. And it comes with some interesting perks. Let me explain you why. The collector category, so if you're applying for a prohibited weapon, there is still semi-auto, so not a full auto, so a newly prohibited weapon. If you apply for that, you're gonna have to provide proof that you have a secure storage facility, like, I don't know, like a safe. And then you have to sort of have some sort of Excel table where you keep track of your guns. So you have to prove that you're a collector from now on, to buy any sort of prohibited gun, which is not full auto basically. You're gonna have to have a safe and just keep track of the guns that you have. Most people, like myself, already do this for just obvious purposes, also for insurance purposes. You wanna know what you have, serial number, you know, if for some reason it gets stolen, just to get your money back. So sensible stuff. Buying a safe, I think anyone having some decent guns, also to not have them being stolen or an accident happen. So they're applying a bit more common sense and say, okay, if you're a collector, at least show that you have some kind of good storage facility to hold your collectible guns, and you keep track of what you buy. And then you can apply for a purchasing permit as a collector, which will allow you to buy an SBR semi-auto, no problem. And you don't have to give any sort of notification down the road. So from an administrative perspective, I think the small collector permit is going to be the way to go for people such as myself in the future. You know, for health reason, for whatever reason, it may be that down the road you don't have access to, or you cannot go shoot anymore. What are you going to do? Do not worry. If for some reason you buy a gun for sporting purposes and you are unable to bring, to provide evidence that you shot that gun once in 5 years, you can still apply for a license to have it registered as a collector weapon. So they're thinking this was something I specifically asked. It's not gonna be like that you're just branded as a criminal overnight. If for some, I don't know, if you get cancer, you cannot shoot. You're not gonna go to jail because you didn't shoot your AR-15. You have a chance to recategorize the weapon as a collector weapon, and then, I mean, you're gonna have to provide proof that at least it's stored in a safe way. So overall, this new gun law is bringing a bit more administrative hassles, but it doesn't really change a lot. Honestly, it's not worth the time of just being there and crying over split milk. It's done and dusted now. The new law is here. We have to make do with what we have, and just be mindful in the future. The new law, honestly, I mean, the permit will still cost the same. You will still be able of buying 3 guns at a time like before. So essentially, if you want to buy your 3 guns, you're not gonna have to spend more money into more paperwork. No, same prices, same structure. They're still gonna ask you for the same demonstration that you're not a criminal. So you know, as an input paperwork, there is nothing more that you have to provide up front. You just need to be mindful that if you're applying for the gun, probably the small collector permit is the way to go. Also for another reason, the small collector permit that allows you to buy SBRs does not have, as opposed to the big collector status, like with an full out of HK416, it doesn't have any implications on whether you can shoot the gun or not. So if I buy an HK416 category A weapon, the highest restriction class, nowadays if you want to shoot it, I still have to ask for a permit to shoot that gun, okay, which is retarded. If I buy a semi-auto 416 as an SBR in the future, as a small collector, I can still go and shoot it every day. So I just need to provide the police proof that at least I can store my guns in a decent manner, and that I can buy 3 guns at a time for the same price, which is $50. So paperwork exactly the same, probably just upfront the first time to provide that fucking paperwork extra. It's also common sense, honestly, if you have a family like myself, and if you have a party, people coming over for a beer, unless they're gun people and you like to look at guns, it would be just a sensible thing to just have some sort of storage concept for your guns. So, in the future, let's wrap it up. For fucking handguns, probably doesn't change a thing, honestly. Tell me a handgun that has more than 20 rounds out of the box. Fucking Glock 18, if you want to buy that huge ass magazine with 30 rounds, it's your problem. Honestly, I don't give a shit. SBRs, the way to win the future, you're gonna be probably a collector. Do the fucking paperwork once to show them that you have a safe, and then, I don't know, just keep buying your guns as you did, and there you go. Another interesting thing, you have noticed that, or I don't know if your neurons were working while I was talking. Guns are actually now, like long guns, are classified as prohibited if you can accept a magazine bigger than 10 rounds. So some people have wondered, why I have a G36 bought before with the old gun laws? I have a 30 round magazine lying around, and then I buy a fucking, I don't know, a long G36K with a 10 round magazine, perfectly legal with the old gun law, so, you know, easy, smooth. And what happens if I just have another, you know, G36 30 round mag lying around the new G36, you know? Does that bring you into some kind of shady area? Actually it does. The police explicitly stated that even though you can buy a gun perfectly as with the old gun laws, if it's longer than 60 centimeters and has a 10 round magazine, you can buy it under the old gun law, so to speak, so you don't have to provide any further proof of sporting or collector's activity. However, if you do have another magazine lying around, there are some assumptions under which automatically that gun will be considered then as a prohibited gun. It's something I think in America they call constructive intent, you know, that they can just upfront preemptively charge you if you have an upper and a lower receiver that could potentially result in an NFA item, and you say, no, I just bought the upper, but you're just storing them together. Not a good idea. And they explicitly outline what situations could just result in this scenario, and it's exactly when you have mixed weapons from the old and the new gun laws stored together in the same room. Potentially, it can also be a bit weird if you're with some other people, some friends, which have big magazine and you only have a gun, a newly bought gun, not as for sporting or collector purposes. Then, you know, those magazines of all your friends could get you into troubles. I think in reality it will not be an issue. I don't know who's going to enforce this, but theoretically, if you want to be really anal, there are some scenarios which are quite borderline. Nevertheless, honestly, from what I understand, it's just worth to buy probably any gun as a collector, since you can shoot it if you want. If you get cancer and are about to die on the last day of your life, where you have not proved within 5 years that you're a shooter, you will not go into prison, so this is good. So there are no drawbacks, essentially, in buying guns as a collector, other than you need to have a fucking safe, which I sure hope you do. So, I know that was a bit weird, the update, maybe not so structured as you would expect. This was just a video done on the fly. As said, thanks a lot for 1,000 subscribers. As soon as the Q&A or the FAQ, whatever you want to call it, from the police comes out, which is going to be before August 15, I will try to do some sort of recap on my strategy on how to purchase gun in the future. Worry not, the biggest danger when purchasing gun is still probably your wife or your partner. So that's gonna be, you know, enemy number one. Be sure that you have that one covered. And from a legal perspective in Switzerland, I was pissed off, but honestly, you have to be pragmatic. Honestly, going forward, I'm not really a lot afraid of the new paperwork. I'm just afraid of the fucking European Union, which in so many years' time, they're gonna just re-update gun law. So I'm more afraid of what's gonna come from fucking Brussels in next year, as opposed to the paperwork that I have to do now. You're still okay, you can still buy whatever the fuck you want, if you're not a criminal. Having said that, I wish you a nice Sunday, or whatever the fuck you're doing. If it's not Sunday, I wish you a nice day or whatever. Stay focused, because I have a new gun coming. I just made sure to buy some stuff before the new gun law hits the shelf, so I can still have it registered with the old gun regime, which means I can do whatever the fuck I want. It's supposed to arrive shortly, but as you can imagine, there's a huge demand to register SBRs and stuff like this before August 15. If you follow my Instagram account, maybe there you will be able to have a sneak peek on that. Other than that, thanks a lot for watching, and have a nice evening.